Hello students, we're back again for another fun-filled, exciting and interesting science class. Students, today we're going to talk about a new thing, okay? But it is not so new because in your lower classes also we have touched this topic, microorganisms. You know what is an organism, right? Anything that lives and breathes, they are organisms. Now what about microorganisms? I'm sure some of you still remembers some microorganisms. Micro means small, yeah? So let us see whether they're friends or foe. Okay, whether they're friends, whether these microorganisms are friends or enemies. Let us see. Have you ever observed your, food going, bad? Like bread. Okay, bread, not loaf. Bread. Let us see. You bring a bread and then you eat the half portion of it, and then you keep the other half in a box or wherever, okay? Then after a week you just go and observe, you just go and see the bread has gone stale, it has gone bad. How do you know that the bread or the food or the tomatoes or the potatoes, the vegetables have gone bad? How do you know? By looking, by observing, like blackish, greenish, bluish thing on the surface. Yes, like this. See, I'm sure all of you have seen this. Not only in food, but even in bags, especially nowadays, the rainy season, the monsoon. No. At home also, in your, almirahs or bags, leather bags, shoes. It is infested by all this. What are these? Are they living or non-living? Those whitish stuff here, the greenish stuffs here, they are very much living, and they are known as microorganisms. They are microorganisms. You may not be able to see clearly how they are, the structure, their shape. Let us see. If you observe this bread mold, okay, these are bread molds. They are a group of fungus. They are fungus, okay, fungi. If you observe this under a magnifying glass, just under a magnifying glass also is, will suffice. You will be able to see structures like this, okay, or like this. See, these are bread mold, okay. See, they look like plants, yes or no? They look like plants, a plant family. They are microorganisms. We may not be able to see clearly with our, unaided eyes, with our naked eyes, but if you, take the help of a magnifying glass or a microscope, we will be able to see the different structures. They are structured like this. They look like plants, and they are microorganisms. They grow. Now observe, when your school starts, then we will also be able to observe under the microscope. Take a drop of pond water, pond, fishery pond, or whatever pond, okay, pond water. You take one drop and observe under a microscope, okay. Or even a soil, take a little bit of soil, okay, wet soil, and then dilute it in, dissolve it in a little water. Then this drop of water, let all those settle down, okay, let the bigger particles settle down. Then take a drop of water from that glass and observe under the microscope. Students, we will see amazingly, okay, even the pond water, when you take out, you don't see anything, okay, water, you don't see anything in the pond water, fishery pond, or the soil water, you don't see any organisms. But if you observe under the microscope, this is a real picture, okay, this is a real picture seen under the microscope. Pond water, a drop of pond water observed under a microscope looks like this. See, yuck, isn't it? It's yucky because see all these organisms, ew, right? See? All these organisms will be there in the water. And if you drink this, these organisms will happily go inside your stomach. And cause what? It will cause some, upset. Now let us see. These are the organisms in pond water. See? Yeah? These are not just photographs or drawings, okay. These are real images under the microscope. It looks like this, and they will be moving, Okay, if you observe under a microscope, you will find that they will be moving. And this is from a pond, like I said, soil. Soil dissolved in water. The water looks like this under the microscope. See, even in clear water, even if the water looks clear, they contain so many microorganisms. Not only one type, but many types of microorganisms are present there. Now, let us see. So let's find out. So, are these microorganisms harmful? Are they harmful for our body? Or all microorganisms are bad? They make us sick? Let us find out whether they are harmful or friendly. Okay? Microorganisms are classified into 4 groups. Let us first, classify these microorganisms. So many microorganisms are there. Okay, microorganisms means those organisms which can be seen only under the microscope. Okay, which can be seen only under the help of, magnifying glass or a microscope. Microscope. Okay, so let us see the four groups of microorganisms. First is the bacteria, then the fungi, then we have protozoa and algae. Yes, them once more, students. Bacteria, fungi, protozoa, and algae. So bacteria looks like this. Okay, bacteria is also again different types, but let us only, have a look at, the common bacteria, okay? These are all real images under the microscope, okay? Real images. Some bacteria are rod-like structures like this. Okay, this you cannot see with your eyes, no. These are all observed under very high definition, powerful microscopes. Okay, see microscope. The bacteria looks like this. Some they will look like this, and some like this. Okay, see, some looks like this. So bacteria. I'm just giving you an idea of how bacteria they look like. Okay, how bacteria look like. So these are bacteria. Then fungi. Let us see. Fungi also like bacteria. Different types of bacteria are there, and likewise fungi also. They are all plant-like. Okay, fungi, they are plant-like. See, bread mold, like I've showed you in the early slide. This mold grows on bread, and penicillium. Even this grows on, rotten food, even breads or food, vegetables. Penicillium. Okay, they look like this. And aspergillus. Okay, aspergillus. Remember all these names because you'll be asked, okay, you'll be asked to name some fungi. So what are they? Bread mold, penicillium, aspergillus. Okay, this is how fungi looks like. Then protozoa. See, these protozoans, primitive. They're the most, primitive. They're the oldest living organisms in the universe. Okay, protozoa. They're the one of the, oldest living organisms. So this is a typical and most common protozoa is amoeba. Okay, and amoeba we have studied in other classes also, lower classes also. And amoeba, it changes its shape every time it moves. And then paramecium. Repeat after me, students. Amoeba, paramecium. Okay, all these are microscopic. They will be found in, whether in water, even in the air. Okay, so protozoans, mostly they are found in water. Then algae, even this algae. See, algae, Climatomonas. Yes, repeat after me. Climatomonas. Climatomonas. See, it looks like eyes and this, whisker-like tentacles. Spirogyria. Do you remember seeing this in the pond water slide? Yes, in the first slide I showed you, the pond water looks like this. This Spirogyria. Okay, they're found in, like fishery ponds. All right, in water. So examples of algae are Climatomonas and Spirogyria. Now again, there is another other than the bacteria, fungi, protozoa, and what was the other one? Okay, so other than the 4 groups of these microorganisms, viruses. Viruses are also another group of microorganism, but they are different from the other 4. Okay, they are different from the other, like algae, bacteria, fungi, and protozoa. They are different from them because viruses, they reproduces. They act like living only when they are inside the host body. Okay, only when they are inside an animal or a human being. Okay, or in the cells of host organisms. Viruses are also microscopic, but are different from other organisms. They reproduce only inside the cells of the host organism. Okay, like see, some viruses, let me show you. This is a bacteriophage, a very common virus, bacteriophage. They look like this, okay? See all these feet. And this is adenovirus, okay, which is a little circular in shape. And this is HIV, which causes AIDS, human immunodeficiency virus. See, it looks like this virus, HIV virus looks like this. HIV looks like this. So these are different viruses, okay? These are all enlarged or magnified pictures of the little microscopic organisms. Now let us find out, where do all these microorganisms live then? Where do all the bacteria, fungi, algae, viruses live? Let us see. They may be, some microorganisms may be single-celled, like amoeba, paramecium. They are single-celled organisms, okay? And bacteria also, they are single-celled organisms. But other some microorganisms are unicellular, that is single celled, while others are multicellular. Okay, and see, microorganism is single celled like bacteria, some algae and protozoa, and multicellular like algae and fungi. They live in all types of environment. See, these microorganisms are capable of, surviving or tolerating, extreme conditions also. All right, ranging from ice cold climate, like in the, Everest, Mount Everest, icy cold, in the North Pole, South Pole, cold regions. They can survive, and the hot springs. Hot springs means hot water, springs are there, right? And from desert, dry land to marshy, soggy lands, these microorganisms can thrive. They can live almost everywhere. Okay? They are also found inside the bodies of animals, including humans. Ew. Yes, ew, but it is true. Some microorganisms lives the inside our body also, and in animals also. Okay? And some microorganisms grow on other organisms while others exist freely. That means some microorganisms are parasites. That means they will live on another organism and they will just, you know, uh, feed on them. Okay, some are parasites. They can survive only when they, live on some other organisms, while some they can exist freely. Let us see microorganisms. Yes, in the chapter we said whether the microorganisms are friends or are they enemies. Let us see microorganisms and us. Some microorganisms. When I say microorganisms, bacteria, virus, algae, don't only think that ew, they are all bad. No, but there are friendly microorganisms also. Friendly, that means beneficial. Okay, some microorganisms are very beneficial for us. In what way? Let us see. Do you want to know how these microorganisms can help us? Yes? See, the first one is making of curd and bread. Yes, daily you take bread. Yes, bread doughs, bread with egg, sandwiches, bread with butter, bread with jam, bread or the loaf. Yes, how is bread made? And curd, dahi, lassi, yogurt. How are they made? They are made from microorganisms, especially here the bacterium. Bacterium is the singular form of bacteria. Okay, bacteria is the plural form. If it is only one, we call bacterium. Okay, the bacterium lactobacillus. Lactobacillus promotes the formation of curd. Okay, curd. In order to make curd, like I said, yogurt or the dahi, lassi, then this bacterium lactobacillus is aided, and it helps in the formation of curd. What about bread? Like I said, yes. How is bread made? While, when you're kneading the dough, okay, atta, maida, you mix it with water, and then for making bread, you add an organism called yeast. Y-E-A-S-T, yeast. Okay, this yeast that your mom is eating, or in the bakery, those bakers are eating, it is a microorganism, the yeast. So when you add this in the bread, you knead the dough, what happens? This yeast will feed on the sugar that is on the wheat, the atta and maida. There is sugar there, yes or no? The carbohydrates, they're sugars only. So this yeast will feed on them, and they will give out carbon dioxide gas. What gas? They give out carbon dioxide gas. And gas, when they're trying to come out, bubbles. They come out in the form of bubbles. Okay? Carbon dioxide gas comes out in the form of bubbles. And these bubbles, when you keep it, you are baking it. When you keep the kneaded dough, aside for some time, then they grow. Yes or no? The kneaded dough, they rise because of the carbon dioxide, which is produced by the yeast. Okay, and this makes the bread rise, the dough rise, and make it fluffy, soft, airy. Okay, so yeast is nothing but it is a microorganism. It is a fungi. Okay, yeast is it comes under the group fungi. So yeast rapidly produces carbon dioxide during respiration. When it respires, it produces carbon dioxide. These bubbles of gases fill the dough and increase its volume. And because of this, it is used in the baking industry for making breads, pastries, cakes, Christmas cakes, birthday cakes, wedding cakes. Yes, all those things that you see in the bakeries, they're made by yeast. Okay, so it is friendly for us. Yes. Then we have commercial use for microorganisms. Commercial use, that means for economic production. Commercial use. Okay, how can microorganisms be used for production of increasing economy? For commercial use, they're used in large scale for the production of wine, alcohol, the rum, whiskey, scotch, whatever, and wine, beer. Okay, so for making alcohol, all this wide range of alcohol is made from microorganism, yeast. Okay, and for making vinegar. Okay, vinegar, chicken marination, for chicken marination, pork marination, fish marination, vinegar is used, right? That tangy, sour, clear liquid, or it is also known as acetic acid. Vinegar is also known as acetic acid. So, yeast is used for commercial production of alcohol and wine. And for this purpose, yeast is grown on natural sugars present in grains like barley. Yes, barley for making beer, right? And wheat, rice, crushed fruit juices for making wines and all those whiskey, rum. All this alcohol is made only because of they are able to produce this wide range of alcohol because of microorganism, yeast only. And this process, okay, you add the yeast to all these food products. You add the yeast, they will feed on it, and they will produce alcohol, carbon dioxide. And this process is known as fermentation. What? Fermentation. The process of conversion of sugar into alcohol. Yes, because fruits contain sugar, wheat contains sugar, barley, rice contains sugar. So when the yeast feeds on this sugar, the sugar is turned into alcohol. Okay? Rice beer, zutho, na? zutol or whatever like totze, and all these are made from yeast. So, see, this process is known as fermentation. What? Fermentation. Then, for medicine, microorganisms helps us in making medicines. Yes, when we get sick, when you are sick, headache or upset stomach, diarrhea or fever, whatever sickness, you take medicines. You go to the doctor. Doctor gives you a capsule or a tablet. Then you eat these, and also all these syrups. Okay, antibiotics. Okay, antibiotics are made from microorganisms. Antibiotics are what? Antibiotics, you have to know, they are medicines which kills or stops the growth of the disease-causing microorganisms. Supposing a microorganism has entered your body, a virus, a bacteria, okay, then in order to stop the growth of this virus and bacteria, because if it starts growing again, your sickness will get only worse. So in order to stop it, in order to kill it, you take these antibiotics, and these antibiotics kills or stops the growth of disease causing microorganisms. And these antibiotics are made from microorganisms. Okay, some of the common antibiotics we use are streptomycin, tetracycline, erythromycin. Okay, see, antibiotics, streptomycin, you may be asked, tetracycline, erythromycin, they are some of the commonly known antibiotics. At home also, you might be having this, which is made for fungi and bacteria. And these antibiotics are also even mixed with livestock and poultry, feed of livestock and poultry to check microbial infection of animals, and also to control many plant diseases, not only for human beings, but the livestock like the chicken that we are rearing in the piggery, the cattle farm, in the farm, also the livestock and all these, antibiotics or microorganisms. These antibiotics are given for stopping diseases. Okay, even in plants. Okay, plants also have diseases, so in order to stop this, these antibiotics or these microorganisms are used. And another one in the group of medicines, vaccine. Have you heard? Of course you have heard. We are all vaccinated against this coronavirus nowadays. Yes or no? Especially those above 18 years. And during your childhood, you have taken so many vaccines. Yes or no? Vaccines for hepatitis, pneumonia, for this rubella, cholera, chickenpox, whatever vaccine. What is this vaccine actually, students? These vaccines are actually, they are dead or weakened microbes, okay, which causes that disease. And this is injected when you're a child, so that when you grow up, even if you grow up, if those viruses enters again your body, they will be able to fight off this. So, see, when a disease-carrying microbes enters our body, okay, when some disease-causing microorganisms enters our body also has their own, our body produces antibodies, okay, a chemical called antibodies, which fights all this, okay, the disease-causing microbes. Then, if dead and weakened microbes are introduced into a healthy body, the body fights and kills the invading bacteria by producing suitable antibodies. Now, once the vaccine is injected, the vaccine is nothing but it is just microorganisms, okay? Microorganism. So that microorganism is injected, that or weakened microorganism, and if it enters your body, okay, when you're a child or just right now, a corona vaccine, okay, antibodies will be developed, will be produced from our body. And these antibodies will remain there forever. The antibodies will remain in your blood forever. And in another time, if the same virus enters, then these antibodies are already there, ready to fight them, and you will not get the same disease again. So this is how vaccine works, okay? So anyways, for today, let us stop there. We will continue in the next class, and until then, you take care and bye-bye.